Hello, my name is Lazar Daniel, and today I would want to present my research job on such a subject and a disaster such as the Kuwait Oil Fires. The Kuwait Oil Fires, also known as the Gulf War Oil Fires, were occurred as a result of the Iraqi invasion of Kuwait in August 1990. The fires were ignited by retreating Iraqi forces during their occupation of Kuwait, which lasted from August 2nd, 1990 to February 27, 1991. Approximately 600 to 700 oil wells were set ablaze, releasing a vast amount of smoke, soot, and toxic gases into the atmosphere, says the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency in 1991. These fires caused a significant environmental damage and had severe implications for human health as well as the local economy and ecosystem. The location of the Kuwait oil fire was primarily in Kuwait, a small country situated in the northeastern part of the Arabian Peninsula, bordered by Iraq to the north and the Saudi Arabia to the south. The Iraqi troops under the leadership of President Saddam Hussein are held responsible for setting the Kuwait oil fires during the Gulf War in 1991. The Iraqis had invaded Kuwait on August 2, 1990, claiming that Kuwait was historically a province of Iraq and that Kuwait had been legally exploiting Iraq's oil reserves. After months of international diplomatic efforts, the US-led coalition launched a military offensive to drive the Iraqi army out of Kuwait. In the wake of their defeat, the retreating Iraqi troops deliberately ignited the oil wells, unleashing a devastating environmental catastrophe. The Kuwait oil fires ignited by the retreating Iraqi troops during the Gulf War in 1991 had immediate and profound impacts on the lives of people in the region. The consequences of the disaster can be observed in several aspects such as health effects, displacement and disruption, and environmental impact. Health effects. The thick black smoke and toxic fumes emitted by the burning oil will pose severe health risks to the local population. People experience respiratory problems, eye irritation, and other related health issues due to the exposure to hazardous air pollutants. Displacement and disruption. The fires and their associated environmental hazards forced many residents to flee their homes, seeking refuge in safer areas. The displacement of people resulted in the disruption of their daily lives and the loss of homes, possessions, and livelihoods. Environmental impact. The extensive environmental damage caused by the oil fires affected the natural ecosystems and biodiversity in the region. The destruction of habitats and contamination of water sources and had adverse effects on flora and fauna, disrupting delicate ecological balance. Going on, I would want to talk about a detailed description of the chronology of events of what happened at January 17th, 1991. First of all, in August 1990, the Iraqi forces, led by President Saddam Hussein, invaded Kuwait, citing historical and territorial claims. This marked the beginning of the Gulf War. Secondly, the United Nations Security Council passed resolutions condemning the invasion and demanding Iraq's immediate withdrawal from Kuwait. International diplomatic efforts to resolve the crisis peacefully ensued, but they ultimately failed to secure a peaceful resolution. In January 1991, a US-led coalition launched a military offensive known as Operation Desert Storm to liberate Kuwait from Iraqi occupation. As the Iraqi troops faced defeat and began retreating from Kuwait, they executed a scorched earth policy by deliberately setting fire to Kuwait oil wells. The retreating Iraqi forces set fire to more than 700 oil wells, creating a massive inferno that engulfed the region. The fires raged for several months, but thick black smoke and toxic fumes billowing into the air. The environmental impact was so significant as the fires destroyed large areas of natural habitat, including vegetation and wildlife. Afterwards, the thick smoke and oily rain caused by the fires created a hazardous environment for both humans and animals, leading to health issues and ecological damage. Finally, The Kuwait oil fires release vast amounts of greenhouse gases contributing to global warming and climate change. In conclusion, I can say that the scale and environmental impact of the Kuwait oil fires served as a wake-up call for the international community. It led to the increased awareness of the environmental consequences of oil-related disasters and the need for stricter regulations to prevent and mitigate such incidents. The disaster prompted an international response to tackle the environmental and humanitarian crisis caused by the fires. It highlighted the importance of cooperation among nations in addressing large-scale environmental emergencies and led to the development of frameworks for international cooperation and coordination in disaster response.